Yes, 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 yes. Is trading stocks gambling? Some people say it is. I'm going to talk to you a little bit from my book, The Money Flow. This is my book on how I trade. Now, I'm very passionate about trading. I've been trading a long time. I think it's important to say, don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. I'm not discounting long-term investing, buy and hold, or index funds, all that. I buy into all that. I own a single-family portfolio. I own stocks that I've owned for 20 years that I just compound. I do all of that. Active trading, in my mind, this is like flipping houses. Like we're doing the same thing, okay? So sometimes people will poo-poo trading as, I don't know, maybe a waste of time. Maybe if you're a trader, then you're taking some big risk. You're doing something dangerous. It'd help me if I had my stuff ready, huh? And I want to say that's not true. Now I'm going to talk about the way I trade, and also try to the difference between gambling and trading. If you're just reading an article on Yahoo and you buy some stock, yeah, you're gambling. That's gambling. No more than if you go into the casino and you put money into a slot machine and you pull it. You're playing a game of chance. Now, sometimes you win that. And my dad used to say it's better to be lucky than to be right. So that happens. And if you play enough hands, you get blackjack. So don't discount luck. And that's, it was just a hunch. I put it in, call it a gamble, whatever the term we want to be. But what if we could take this idea of quickly capturing moves in the stock market and make money with that? And I'm not talking about this. This is not your retirement, okay? This is a little thing we're doing on the side. In my book, You Don't Have to Die Broke, I talk about this idea of creating multiple streams of income. One would be your job. One might be a side hustle. One might be something. This could ultimately become one, but we're going to have to learn some skills. So one of the difference between gambling and non-gambling is skill set. Now, you could say, well, poker players, some of them develop skills. Exactly. And so they take the game from more of a gambling to more of a ratio, or should we say a probability business, right? They get into probability. There's a book out there titled How to Trade Like a Casino. The casino is in the gambling business, right? But they're not gambling. They're playing a systematic strategy based on a set of rules, based on risk-reward principles. And so that's what separates trading as far as gambling and actual trading to make money, which is what I try to do, what you want to do. So as a little bit of a side business, I made about $22,000, about 22 grand, about 22K this year, trading. Buying low, selling high. Just trading. Yes, I got to pay taxes on that, just like you do at your job, okay? Just like you do anywhere you make money. Don't confuse this with my buy and hold portfolio, which went up about almost 200,000. Me doing nothing. Just owning those stocks, it went up. Now, some people would say, well, if that's the case, then don't do this. Just put it all into this. I disagree. In the same sense that I disagree in that I think you should have a primary job, and I think you should try to find one or two other ways, if possible, to make money. I used to mow yards. Do I not mow yards because I get a better paying job? Like, these things are separate. I buy and fix up and rent out houses. If I came across one that didn't fit my criteria, but I thought it was valuable, I could buy it, right? Because it's worth down here. Let's say I pay $100 for it, and fixed up it's worth $160, and I think I can fix it for $30. That leaves me a $30,000 margin, right? And so I could buy a house that ordinarily I wouldn't buy because ordinarily it doesn't fit into what I do as a business. So there's an example where a trading this house for this price for this price. And so in my mind, trading stocks is the same thing. The difference is understanding the value. Now, if you don't understand the value of a house that you buy to try to flip it, and you think you can flip it for a profit, and it's actually not worth more than that, then you're gambling in the housing market. But a professional flipper is not gambling. Why? Because they have a perceived value of price. So in order to make trading not gambling, we need to understand price and value. These are at its core. Now you're thinking, no, I need buy and sell signals. No, you don't. There's a lot of people that'll sell you buy and sell signals. That's the last thing you need. The last thing you need is blind buy and sell signals. People will do this to me all the time. Which 3 stocks should I buy? It's such a stupid question. It shows that you don't actually know what you're doing. And so rather than be offended by that, let me help you. Like, ask me smart questions. Like, what if we could take your finances to 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, a fucking master's degree? Like, you could begin to take money and actually make money with money instead of being led around by your nose and needing all these gurus and all these high-priced courses. It shocks me the stuff people are paying. Speaking today with one of the richest guys I know. This guy's worth 10 times what I'm worth. And I'm worth a few mil. And this guy's worth 10 times that. And he's laughing at me and he says, Gerald, it's funny to me how all these people buy all these courses from these people. And he saw one the other day, it was like $10,000. And he says, what I do is so stupidly easy. What's to teach in a course? Like, I could explain it in 5 minutes. So a lot of things you're going to find are that way. You know, you just need some basics. So when we get into trading, we're going to need a couple things. We're going to need a way to visually see what we're trading. That should be obvious. We're going to need charts. Make sense? You need charting system. If you cut corners right here, you don't get the charting system. You don't have a way of valuing, looking at charts. You don't have a professional way of doing this. There is no point in going forward. You've already failed. So you have to spend some money to get a charting stuff. I get people all the time. They're using free charts. Should I spend $40 a month on a chart? Yes. You should. Absolutely, you should. If you're trying to be for real. I mean, you can't pay for Netflix and fucking Hulu and then not pay for software that's going to help you make money. It doesn't make any sense, right? So we need charting software. Now we need a set of stocks to follow. And I like to use this idea of the money flow. Just look around you. This board was made by 3M. This phone's made by Apple. Drive a Dodge. You know, I drink Pepsi. Like, just start looking around you. Become aware. Now, this is a practice in mindset, because there's 3 things that we're looking at when we begin to trade stocks. Method. What is your buy and sell signal method, right? Money, meaning how much money are we trading? How are we going to manage it? How we're going to split it up? All of these could be an hour video, right? And then mindset, your mind. And so one reason I want you tuned into the money flow is so that you can begin to think strategically, begin to think like an actual trader and not a gambler. So you begin to tap into this thing. We're all connected in this universe, right? Science of Getting Rich calls it formless substance, that place where prayers go. So when you're thinking of an idea, another guy over here is thinking of a similar idea, you're both connected into the same source of inspiration, right? Same thing answers his prayers as mine, and India is a guy here in America. And this is how 2 people can bump into each other. One has the plan, one has the money, and you form a partnership and make something big happen. You were both working on the same thing, and collective universe brings you together. So inside of stock trading, we've got method. What style of trading are we going to do? How much money are we trading? And where's our mind at? Are we tapped into mindset, to the money flow? So in absolute, you have to read the book, Science of Getting Rich, in my opinion, especially if you're going to trade my strategy. So I have a strategy, and then I use money, and I have the mindset, which is inside of the book, The Science of Getting Rich. And that's the foundation, right? So we're talking about the foundation right now. So we have our charting software. We open up a brokerage account. Brokerage accounts provided. The only problem with some of the brokerage account provided software is you got to be at a computer. If that's what you want to use, that's fine. You can do this in a day. The way I trade is technically entitled swing trading, is what most people would call it. I don't call it that. I don't call it swing trading, really. I guess I do sometimes in my newsletter. I just call it smart, like being smart. It's just a smart way to trade. I call it flipping stocks. That's what we're going to try to do, is flip stocks. So what some people call swing trading, I call flipping stocks. So at its core, in order for me to flip stocks at a lower price to a higher price, and yeah, we can go the other way too, but that's not what we're talking about. In order for me to do that, I have to know the value. So part of my method, right, my method, the method, part of my method is value in price. So I need to buy a stock of a company that I understand, that I could read it, understand it, look at it, boom. And I want to be able to know, what is that worth today? What is the value of this company? If it was to be sold, what's it worth? So if I'm looking at trading Budweiser, what is the actual price of Budweiser worth? Now, that's called fundamental analysis. I know how to do it. I've read the books. There's all these books out there. They'll try to get you to read a lot of complicated books. I don't think you need to do that. You could crash course this. Watch some YouTube videos, dig into some people. There's Morningstar, there's TipRanks, there's TheStreet.com. There's a ton of these. You should be reading the Wall Street Journal and getting into Barron's and begin to come across these companies, begin to see what other people say the value are, begin to understand what it is that analysts do. You know, there's people. They went to college. They have fucking master's degrees in business. They have MBAs in business, and they analyze companies, and you can outsource this to them. And so you could go and say, okay, I'm looking at trading this stock. What is it worth? And if you look and see it's fairly valued, how do you flip a fairly valued house? Not all houses are flippable, right? You're looking for certain ones. So I'm looking for certain stocks. So I follow a pattern. I call this the money flow. And I break it down into stages, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. And this is called the money flow trading system. I believe that markets move in 4 stages. Good companies go sideways. And then good companies go up, and good companies go sideways, and then good companies go down. And this is the flow, the ebb and flow of the market, the money flow. Up and down, up and down. Maybe they're responding to interest rates. Maybe they're responding to trade embargoes. Maybe they're responding to a tweet. Maybe they're responding to some economic factor that's hit this industry, or maybe the price of oil has dropped so far that now oil stocks have come down. And so we saw the price of oil go up, 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 and then it started coming down, and it went down, 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 down. And while it goes down, all of the oil stocks go down, 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 down. Now what we're looking for is one that goes down, 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 and goes below the value of the company. Meaning just the fact this company's in business, Exxon has a value. We could sell Exxon and have a price that we sell for the entire company. Let me make sure I'm not going over here. I'm trying to keep these somewhat limited. So Exxon has a value, right? And let's say we're watching Exxon, and we have a method now. Here's our method, right? We have some money, and part of our mindset is we understand this. We're not still trying to convince ourselves of this. We're not still afraid of this. We've mastered this. Repetition is the mother of skill. We've internalized the process of this idea of the money flow of mind, method, money. And we're looking to buy quality companies that fall in what I call stage 4 decline, right? We'll keep the technical stuff at a minimum as we talk about this, but get this. We're going to outsource, and we're going to find a place so we can value it. And when the price gets, I don't know, 10, 20, 30%, whatever you're looking, below what it's worth, I began to look on the charts using my method, which allows me to look at indicators, and I look at about 6 different things. And when all 6 of these things line up, I buy. See what I'm saying? So I'm buying on a low of a stock that I think is worth more money. Why? So I can flip it. I'm not making a long-term prediction of the stock. I'm making a short-term prediction of the stock. So now we did that over there. And we were over here. So we're over here now. And then when the stock confirms my belief, part of my method is I buy a little more. Because I like to buy more if I'm right. So I want to buy more if I'm wrong. That'll confuse people. And I want to buy a little more if I'm right. And then I'm looking to target where it's been before, below fair value, below the value of if we sold the company. So if we sold the company and it's worth $10 a share, let's just use this as an example, and I bought this quality company for $5. These numbers are too low. Usually they're going to be like $100 or $50. I like to stick with dividend-paying stocks. So let's say it's worth $75, and I get it for $50 down here. Breaks out. Now it's at $53, and I buy a little bit more. So I've got some at $50, and I've got some at $53, and I have a fundamental belief that the company's worth $75, which is way up here, right, on the stock chart. Well, somewhere right around in here, usually previous highs, what I'm targeting, I'm looking to sell it. And I'm going to sell it below value so that there's still a little bit of room on there. I want to have a little bit of room. That's what makes it for sure I'm going to hit my target, because my target is actually below the price. So I'm leaving a little bit on the bone for the next guy. I'm just trying to turn 53.50, 53 and 50 into 75. Or 10 into 15, or 30 into 42. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to do. And so I combine this idea of a method with some money, a little bit of mindset, and I develop it and I create this way of trading stocks. And then I tap into the money flow. And for me, I follow 50, 100 different stocks all the time. Looking at them on my charts. Remember I talked about we have to have charts. And I follow them in this little game that I play. And with this little game, I spend, I don't know how much time I spend. Some days I spend no time. Some days I may spend 2 hours. I enjoy doing it. Most of the time I'm sitting in bed when I'm doing this stuff, or during the day, or on my watch, or on my phone, or whatever. And like I said, I made $22,000. That's in one account, one trade account. Trading, in one account. So like I trade in multiple accounts. So I mean, I made a lot more money in that year. But in my exclusively where I'm just flipping stocks, easily. But it takes time. You have to develop skills, right? You have to take your time with this process and develop skill set. And if you don't have skills, then what you have is gambling. So we have to find quality companies, the money flow. We have to determine a way to value said companies. That isn't DMing me saying, what's this company worth? That's not you figuring out how to determine value. You got to figure that part out. How do you determine the value of a company? And we want to find companies, so we need a method to find companies that are below that value. And then use charts to technically time and pinpoint and find our targets. And then we flip stocks. It's a beautiful thing. If you don't have my book, The Money Flow, this one's not free. My other book, You Don't Have to Die Broke, where I talk about some of the things I invest in, how I manage money, that book is completely free. DM me, email me, click around, follow me. But this book, I charge a few bucks for. This is my strategy. If you follow me on Instagram, I teach it live throughout the week, and every Wednesday, every Sunday morning, you can watch, and I teach the actual exact strategy.